Throughout the lands of Skyrim, you will find a variety of different enemies to battle, from tentacle-filled Daedra monstrosities to gigantic spectral mud crabs. While encounters with such opponents may leave you impressed, it's often the sensational dragon battles that leave you truly awestruck. No, not the pesky random dragons who show up in Windhelm to ruin your day, but the epic ones like Durnavir, Odahviing, Alduin, and Sarutar, which is the one from Apocrypha. The overwhelming majority of dragons in Skyrim are quite clearly explained by the lore in the game. Other dragons, however, are not covered in such detail, and while they are in the games and are definitely considered lore-friendly, we don't exactly know either A, who they are, and or B, how they got themselves to where we find them. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael, and welcome to Fudge Muppet. Today I'm going to be taking you deep into the undergrounds of Skyrim to uncover and theorize on two of the fruitiest dragons. Do note that there will be some Skyrim spoilers in this video. With that said, let's get exploring and speculate on these dragons. Make sure you let us know what you think about each one in the comments section. We always love a good theory. Unexplained Skyrim Dragon number 1, the Skeletal Dragon. While completing the College of Winterhold storyline, you will be sent to get the Staff of Magnus from a location known as Labyrinthian. After delving through these ancient ruins, you will come to a small path with a gate. You open the gate and move past it, strolling into a massive opening where you end up face to face with one seriously menacing opponent, a skeletal dragon. This is the Happy Halloween equivalent of a normal dragon, and it's even accompanied by a large group of spooky, scary skeletons too. As you can see, it has no skin, flesh, muscles, or scales of any kind. It's all just bone. If you kill this dragon, you can acquire a large amount of dragon bones from it. It also does not fly, but with no sky in sight, I don't think you're really too worried about whether or not it can take off. Although if you do try to test it out by using the Bend Will Shout, the answer is no, you cannot mount it. Very interestingly, this dragon has no soul to absorb, but can still use its dragon shouts, throwing fire breath, frost breath, and unrelenting force at you as you try to take it out. Now, by no means is this skeletal dragon as strong as he looks. Weak to fire damage and not boasting the best stats, he's about as easy to defeat as a standard brown dragon. Although not being a normal Dover, illusion spells will actually affect him if you have the Master of the Mind perk. His health does regenerate 20 times faster than normal outside combat though, so definitely don't run away or you'll find him fully healed. But that all said, where the hell did this Guardian of the Labyrinthian come from? It's not really explained how there's a full-on undead dragon in these ruins, and how was he resurrected without a soul, and where is his soul? Did a dragonborn absorb it long ago? And why is it one of the few dragons that will appear even if you haven't done the Dragon Rising quest? Based on this, plus the fact that it's hidden deep in these ruins, I'm assuming Alduin didn't resurrect this bad boy. We've also seen Alduin resurrect dragons before, like the one at Kynesgrove, and it crawled out as a skeleton, but then it had the rest of its flesh materialize onto its body. We also know that when we kill a dragon, take its soul, and use a reanimation spell on it, it doesn't work. So this can't be the work of a standard necromancer. In fact, a dragon can glitch out and fly across the map if you shoot its remains with a necromancy spell, which is just awesome. So this dragon is only a skeleton, has no soul, likely wasn't resurrected by Alduin or standard necromancy, is found deep in ruins which dragons couldn't access nowadays, and still has the power of using its dragon shouts. How does this even make sense? It really is an unexplained dragon, but we can always make an educated guess. If we look into the lore of the location of Labyrinthian, we find out that there used to be a great city here. The ruins you see today were once constructed by ancient Nords as a kind of temple to worship dragons all the way back in the Merethic era. For those of you who forget, this is even earlier than the First Era, and at this time, dragons actually ruled over Skyrim. The dragons had wanted to rule over men who had arrived in Tamriel from Atmora, and so they created an elite cult of devout followers known as the Dragon Cult. Together they demanded tribute from the rest of the population of men. Members of the cult were given extreme magical powers by the dragons, giving them much control over their civilization, leading to the creation of laws which aimed to keep a society involving both dragons and men from falling apart. Obviously, this society heavily favored the dragons and the select few cultists who became their servants. Anyways, while this dragon cult grew to extraordinary levels of power, the great city known as Bromjana was built at the location of the Labyrinthian. It is said that this was the capital city of Skyrim at the time, and the highest ranking dragon priests supposedly met here to discuss important matters regarding the governance of their citizens, or slaves really. Anyways, eventually the men rebelled, the dragon wars went down, and the city of Bromjana fell into ruins. Once the dragon cult was defeated and mostly exterminated, some powerful priests, however, managed to reach a lich-like form, escaping death, and you find them in many ancient tombs throughout Skyrim. But why is this all relevant? Well, Mordecai is one of these ancient dragon priests, and you can find him in the Labyrinthian with the Staff of Magnus. In the lore, Mordecai is meant to be super powerful, and there's definitely a chance he could have used his ancient magic and powers gifted by dragons to create the skeletal dragon. Alternatively, it could have just been done by other members of the dragon cult before its collapse. That is the first theory, but there's also another one which I find more believable. So after the Merethic era had passed and the Elder Scrolls universe moved into the First Era, along came a powerful Nord wizard known as Shalador. This guy was a ridiculously powerful archmage, capable of magical acts that most talented mages still struggle to explain. It is said he fought solo against legions of Dwemer from Clan Rorken, built the city of Winterhold with a whispered spell, and even stole the secret of life itself from Akatosh. It's hard to say which of this is legend and which is truth, but we do know Shalador was certainly gifted in the arcane arts. So the second theory regarding the skeletal dragon is that it was actually formed with dragon bones found by Archmage Shalador himself. You see, Shalador actually built the labyrinth, which later became known as the Labyrinthian, deep inside the ruins of Bromyanar. It basically turned into a testing ground for potential archmages, and if they could make it through alive, they passed the test. It is even said that Shalador's maze was built to hide this so-called secret of life that he stole. Anyways, the Labyrinthian isn't used to test mages anymore because it's extremely dangerous and considered unethical by the times of Skyrim. The secrets of navigating it were also kept secret by successful archmages. So then we ask, could Shalador have used his magical talents to reanimate this kind of skeletal dragon, making it one of the many challenges to face for potential archmages in his talent testing labyrinth? Absolutely. We don't know for sure, and there are some questions that will probably always be left unanswered, but there's a very good chance this is the case. Surely having the secret of life from Akatosh could help to half bring a dragon back from its demise. Before we move on to the second unexplained dragon, I do want to acknowledge that another undead dragon exists, and that is Durnavir. However, unlike the skeletal dragon, Durnavir is explained fully. His desire to learn necromancy led him to the Ideal Masters, and they tricked him into guarding the Soul Cairn for eternity. But now let's move on to the second unexplained dragon in Skyrim, and this one is definitely a favorite among Fudge Muppet fans. Introducing the mystery of Vulthuriel, a dragon who makes an unexpected and spectacular entrance in Blackreach if you use the unrelenting force shout on the orb above the debate hall. This dragon will fly through the caverns and around the Dwemer buildings, breathing fire through the air before landing on the ground. What's really cool is that his name actually translates to Dark Overlord Fire in the dragon tongue, and fire breath is the only shout he'll use. Luckily for you, this dragon will actually remain on the ground outside the Dwemer structure for the entire fight, choosing not to fly at all. Bethesda probably knew it could end up glitchy if he had the freedom to fly through the sometimes tight areas of Blackreach. With brilliant black and beige patterns on his tail and wings and a metallic bronze coat of scales, Vulthuriel is meant to be an ancient dragon. However, he has a very low output of damage when it comes to both his bites and his fire breath. He also just drops basic dragon loot. That said, do not underestimate this beast. He's a level 50 dragon with a set health of 3071, meaning that if you're an end game character, you won't have a problem, but if you're under level 20, it's going to be a very tough exchange. Anyways, the question with this unexplained dragon is, how on Nirn did it end up in Blackreach? What is it doing here, and why is it stuck in Blackreach? I find this very mysterious and strange based on the fact that the location is so hard to access. It's not like Vulthuriel used an attunement sphere and crawled down the small stairwell beneath the Dwemer mechanism that lets you into Blackreach. In fact, these spheres were used in multiple Dwemer strongholds to unlock the way into Blackreach, all connected to this massive underground place. We also know that there are those massive great lifts which you can only open from the inside, which take you in and out of Blackreach. The great lift at Mizenchaleft is a prime example, but I'm pretty damn sure a dragon, even if it could open it from the outside, didn't open a gate, cram itself into a lift, pull the lever, and then proceed to somehow weave its way through the Dwemer corridors, doors, past Dwemer traps and automatons and into Blackreach. Dragons are meant to be wise too, and getting stuck in Blackreach doesn't sound too smart to me. Then again, even if Vulthuriel is here on purpose, we can only speculate as to why. Perhaps he has been around since the Merethic era, when dragons ruled Skyrim, but the men rebelled, overthrowing them. He could have fled to Blackreach to hide through an entrance that is no longer there. The Merethic era was thousands of years before Skyrim, and this is plenty of time for earthquakes and avalanches to happen, for climates to naturally change, and as a result, change up the surface of the province. Vulthuriel could have fled down through a larger entrance into Blackreach, but then after a natural disaster, he was trapped down there, never able to reach the surface again. Alternatively, some extremely powerful Nord magic users could have found a way to trap him there. Dragons actually don't have to eat, so it's not like that would be an issue for him, and they don't die of old age either, which explains how he's still around. Keep in mind that there's no record of his name in the Atlas of Dragons either. It's anyone's guess how this dragon ended up in Blackreach, but it's the Dwemer occupation of Blackreach that makes this situation even more confusing. You see, Blackreach may be filled with Falmer, Chorus, and quite frankly the death of many Skyrim players now, but originally the Dwemer had successfully colonized it back in the First Era. They built roads and installed automaton guards, crafted buildings, and created devices like the one used to transfer knowledge of an Elder Scroll onto a lexicon. One important task was the mining of Ethereum, a raw mineral of magical power that they found great use in. They found huge amounts of it sometime after the 221st year of the First Era. 4 Dwemer cities formed an alliance in order to research Ethereum and develop new technologies from it. Each city had a different role and specialization, and the city of Bethesda, while not one of these 4 cities, was used as the place where the Ethereum Forge was built. Here the Dwemer could use Ethereum and their advanced knowledge of smithing to craft some of the most powerful items. You might remember this epic place from the Lost to the Ages quest. All was well, and the alliance brought all the Dwemer involved great success, but eventually the cities all started to grasp for more control, wanting the Ethereum for themselves. This led to a civil war called the Ethereum Wars, which ultimately weakened the Dwemer Empire until it crumbled under the forces of High King Gelir of Skyrim. Later on, the Dwemer of Skyrim would recover, but the point I'm making with this bit of lore is that the Dwemer could have easily been in Blackreach when Vulthuriel was in there. Again, there's the possibility that he could have just been a dragon that no one ever killed or discovered, and then he somehow became trapped down in Blackreach after the Dwemer disappeared, but I think there's a good chance he was down there at the same time. Now, if the Dwemer knew about the dragon, or somehow trapped him down there in the first place, perhaps they even used him as a guard. Anything like this is possible when it comes to the powers and knowledge of the Dwemer. They have tonal architecture, which is essentially overpowered physics-breaking magic that isn't even classified as magic. Maybe the dragon was used by the Dwemer to keep the Snow Elves, who eventually degraded into the Falmer, in line. Remember his name translation of Dark Overlord Fire. And for those of you who don't know, during the First Era, the Snow Elves were forced into seeking refuge with the Dwemer, who fed them a toxic fungus, which eventually turned them blind and slowly into the hideous Falmer. The Dwemer could have made this dragon agree to watch over the slaves, either by force or by striking a deal to conceal him from the surface world. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. It really is baffling how this dragon got here. Maybe he was always an outcast among the other dragons, or maybe he was conscious of his nature, like Parthenax, but then chose to trap himself underground on purpose to prevent his aggressive tendencies from causing harm. Maybe the Dwemer found him there and just used magic to put him to sleep, and the only way to awaken him was by using a dragon shout on that special orb. There's also the theory that he was buried down there for whatever reason, and then Alduin resurrected him remotely, but I'm not too sure on that one. Anyways, let me know what you think. Has he been here since creation, or is something else at work? Perhaps you'll come up with a theory of him trying to help the Falmer retake the surface world. Let loose your best conspiracy theories. And that wraps up this fruity Skyrim piece on the 2 unexplained dragons in Skyrim. I hope you didn't expect me to fully explain and unravel their secrets, because the origins and motives are a mystery to this day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Social media links and the link to our Twitch channel can be found in the description below. My name is Michael, and I look forward to nerding out with you again very soon.